Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. Florida Power and Light executives tonight promised people in Okaloosa County they will clean up Wilkinson Creek in Holt. At the beginning of June, FPL had a stormwater infrastructure failure, and a big one, at their solar energy farm in Holt. Red clay leaked into Wilkinson Creek after more than 7 inches of rain came down in just 3 hours. Now, the berms put in place by FPL to control the runoff just couldn't keep up. Our Hannah James was at the public meeting tonight to address the public's concerns, and Hannah, FPL has already expanded their stormwater basins and reinforced some berms there.
Yeah, Bob, they have, but that's not the only thing that they're doing. Crews of at least 100 people with FPL have been out daily, shoveling out sediment and red clay runoff by hand. Now, that's a temporary fix. Tonight, FPL outlined their restoration plans to concerned residents.
They say they're fixing it. I hope they do, but I just don't see how they're going to.
Florida Power and Light had a massive stormwater infrastructure failure on June 8th. Wilkinson Creek flooded with sediment and red clay runoff. Bridges, backyards, and wetlands all flooded. FPL says they've been scooping out deposits every day by hand and have added 2,000 feet of reinforcement to their basins to prevent this from happening again.
It's pitiful what this has done. And if they're going to continue to put solar farms in, they need to take this as a lesson, because they have ruined, my opinion, destroyed this creek.
A full restoration plan has been drafted by FPL. Tonight's town hall adding the final touches to be approved by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection.
So for the restoration plan, we're hopeful, very hopeful, that once DEP gives their final approval, within 2.5 to 3 months we'll be done with that. And so we're looking forward to moving as quickly as we can.
The plan includes increasing basin capacity, dredging the creek, replanting vegetation, and working with every property owner along Wilkinson Creek. 90% of the property owners have already given their approval.
You know, personally, I'm skeptical that the environment can ever be recreated the way it was.
Elected officials are considering legislation to prevent this from happening on their end.
So I think one of the things we need to do is look for ways to ensure that solar farms are not placed uplands of watersheds. And if that requires legislation, we'll do it. If it requires a rule change, we'll do that.
State Representative Nathan Boyles shares these sentiments.
I think there were some real deficiencies in the design standards that are applied to these sites, especially in Northwest Florida, where our topography is very different, and I absolutely expect we'll be addressing that.
He hopes to see the creek his son was baptized in restored once again.
Yes, I will say, you know, while I regret that this happened and I think it could have been prevented, the response has been significant on FPL's part. And so, we're going to continue to hold their feet to the fire to make sure that continues. But I do believe that we are making steps in the right direction, both to correct the environmental damage and then to make sure it doesn't happen again.
FPL says after the restoration project is complete, they are committed to monitoring the area for a year to make sure what they replant and fix actually helps. In studio, I'm Hannah James.